You begin by explaining that prior to visiting and investigating the Champagne region, you held it in rather low regard. Can you identify a moment or a taste of something when this started to change?
Yes, well, there were a number of wines I encountered in the early days, this is going back some 15 years, that really changed my perception of champagne. But the one I cover in the book, and it was the first significant experience of this type, was Le Mondier Bernier's Terre de Vertus, which is, of course, a wine of a single place that's made from biodynamically tended vines that has zero dosage. So it's already something very different. But the uniqueness of the wine and its characteristics, which were so different to anything I'd had from champagne before, really struck me, and started me down this path of looking for wines of place and looking for wines that were, I guess, wines first and champagne second. Something I mentioned in the book. So that's probably the wine that really set me on the path.
Can you identify what it was, that connection between the place and something in the wine? Is there a
Yeah,
characteristic perhaps? Or
yeah. So the first thing was that the wine sort of shocked me because it had none of the characteristics I could attribute to a champagne. None of the characteristics that we tend to read about with champagne. None of those brioche, nutty, caramelly notes. These yeast or autolysis notes. Rather, this was much more citrusy, extremely mineral. People who know the wine will know this, but it's a wine that tastes. It's a unique wine, so because it's a wine from a unique place, a specific part of Vertus in the south of the Cape de Blanc. And it's a product of a very chalky soil, 100% Chardonnay. But I sort of was reminded of great Manzanilla in terms of that kind of really salty minerality, and also some of the whites of some of the best whites of northern Italy, and even some high-grown white Burgundy or Chablis even. But that kind of raciness, that kind of vibrancy. But the important thing was that it clearly tasted of somewhere, and it was somewhere that I didn't understand at all. So it had this disorientating effect that really, made me extremely curious as a wine person, and I was just desperate to understand, where this wine had come from.